You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 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 You know what I'm saying?
Hello, this is Always for the Culture podcast, presented by Elements and sponsored by the United Way. Today's guest is very, very special to Elements and to myself. We have DJ Apryl Reign. Ooh, we need sound effects, Noah. We need applause happening right now. How are you, Apryl?
I'm all right. I'm just impressed by what y'all doing here. So I'm like, oh, look at y'all with the production. This is dope. It's dope. It's excellent. I love it.
All we needed was your cosign, really.
Oh,
we were just waiting on
y'all didn't need me. I'm just saying. I'm like, I'm impressed. I'm looking like, oh my God, it's an amazing thing. I'm honored to be here in this space like this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I don't know why you're laughing.
Thank you so much for even joining the podcast. Sure. I know we were like really excited to have you on. All the preparation it took. Days before this, we were all really talking about how we wanted to make this really great. And we're so honored to have you. For real.
What you trying to do?
you know, he's trying to give you your flowers.
Okay, I appreciate that.
But yeah, thank you for coming. Let's just jump right into it.
Yes,
ma'am. DJ Apryl Reign.
Yes.
I honestly feel like you're super renowned here in the city. I know you always kind of like brush that off, but I think you really are. Like when people drop your name, they're like, oh, like it's always that kind of reaction.
Sure.
You're like super well known here. I know you've done amazing things in your DJ career, and I know it's still flourishing. So can you tell us a little bit about how you even got to DJing? Because I know your parents are both artists in their own right.
Yes. And I, right. So I grew up around music, actually a story just popped in my head is I don't remember, but my father just shared it with me not too long ago about, I don't know if I was crying or something. And he showed me, like, I guess the first record player and put the needle on the record. I don't know don't ask me what album, but he said I just calmed down and I just started rocking. And like my ears picked up and he's like, oh, something's going on here. And said, I don't remember it, but I shared that with you to say I've grown up with it all, albums everywhere, father practicing in the garage and in the basement, is just a part of me. So as far as my trajectory, is being exposed to that. But when I was 12 years old, I had my first party and was introduced to a DJ. They came, they had their speakers, their turntables, came down to my grandmother's basement, and they were playing the Beastie Boys, their first album. So I can tell you that's, I'm dating myself, but that's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm proud of it because that was and I just fell in love with like, look at that. And I was just like, this is amazing, and just wanting to be a part of that DJ culture, you know what I'm saying? So we go home and we try to scratch our own turntables and break it and get on punishment, but still we wanted to, do it. We wanted to DJ, to scratch and all that stuff. So, but I didn't at that time, I wasn't saying I'm going to be a DJ. For some odd reason, I'm trying to figure out why I chose this, but I wanted to produce. And music would be in my head and I would hear different mixes and seeing how, you know what I'm saying? Right. And I was like, well, all of the producers that I know, and this was like in the mid 90s, were DJs first. So I said, well, let me try to be a DJ and then I'll start to produce. And so that was really like my timeline of where I am. Now, I do produce a little bit, but it's still like DJing is still more prominent than production. But hopefully that'll change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost feels like the steps were sort of ordered for you. Like with your first introduction, it just the sort of vinyl sound,
Yeah,
and then being introduced to having DJs and seeing the presentation of what you can do with a vinyl and transform a room, and then deciding strategically, oh, I'm gonna step into this DJing space and see where it takes me.
Yeah. Okay, I like how you reframed that. I'll take it. That's cool.
That's so interesting, though. So beyond the DJing, growing up, were there any other like creative forms that you sort of like dipped your toe into? Or?
Sure. So when another little story.
Tell us.
Got these little stories. And here you go. So again, in my father's basement, and the same person that introduced me to DJing, they had a rap group. And this is the first time I've heard them like rapping like in person and stuff like that. And I memorized the rap and everything. I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I took that rap. Now, no, I'm probably gonna say she bit off them, and then and I did. Nobody else knew. And then I was in the back of the bus, and I spit that same verse. It was like, oh, you know, I had all the skills. And you know what? But it did a lot to my confidence.
Right.
It's like, you know, hey, maybe I got something, you know, and so initially I wanted to rap, you know, so I wanted to be the MC or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm so shy, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't always have a lot to say. People who rap, you know, usually they got a lot to say. They talk a lot. And they so full of themselves, you know. And I ain't all like that. So anyway, so I kind of put that on the back burner or whatever, but I still knew, you know, if I thought about it, I think I could, you know,
Right,
spit a
for
little
sure,
bit, whatever.
definitely.
And then also on the side too, again, this all happened around 6th grade. I played the flute, and I was, you know, first chair and everything like this. I know, right? Anyways, then, but when I went to a different school, they signed me up. I couldn't. It was too late, and I just cried and cried and cried.
Yeah.
So just heartbroken. But from then I just got into sports and just stuck with that until high school or whatever.
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? But you know, music was a part. But then after that, it just kind of was really dormant. Except I just also used to sing in the church choir. You know what I'm saying? So that was there. So music has been constant. It's
Right.
just been in different forms.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, when did you rediscover the DJing then? Obviously, you were young, so it's expected to want to try out different things and to explore different things. When did that rediscovery happen to pursue the DJing or to pursue your own kind of music journey?
Yeah. And freshman year in college. Yeah. So like my freshman year, that's when I was, you know, looking at the DJs and all this stuff. Learned from a lot of DJs, and then also learned from my husband. He wasn't at the time, of course. But, you know, and was just really studying it and wanting to learn, even not just DJing, but even the competition, competitive type DJing, I wanted to learn. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to learn all of that. And that, you know, I rediscovered that in college at Central State.
Competitive DJing. Do you remember your first competition?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about that.
No, yeah. My first DJ competition was in Columbus, Ohio.
And you lost.
I no, I
You
did not
won?
lose.
Look, she corrected you.
I'm
You
telling
went to
you,
Columbus and won?
I came in second.
Go ahead,
Oh,
April.
second place.
That's huge.
You
for
still
your first
lost.
competition.
I mean,
I'm just playing. No, that's very impressive.
one?
I'm
Come
impressed.
on now, look at
That's
you.
hard.
No, I
Okay,
appreciate,
I'll be
I appreciate
quiet.
you. You know, you're all right. But no, yeah, and it was like the hip hop fest. I forget the name of it. And they used to do it back in the day, and they stopped. But it was like a hip hop expo. That's exactly what it was called. And they would have it at the convention center. And I came in second place. One of the I don't know. Hey, no, you know RJD2. He's a really good producer.
Is he around Cincinnati? I feel like I've heard this
Yeah,
name
yeah,
like
I
at
know
least
you've heard
7
it.
times.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, he's like a nationally known
Oh.
recording artist. Yeah, you check him.
I feel
He
like
was
I
in the
definitely
DJ battle.
recognize-
Oh, dope.
Huh?
Has he been here before?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's why.
Been to
that's why.
Elements?
Yeah, I think we got like some kind of video with him on like one of our Elements playlists.
Oh,
too.
okay. That's
If
dope.
this is the person I think of.
Okay,
thinking
well,
about.
we'll
I don't know.
We'll check the tape.
Don't trust me, though.
Get our references.
No, but I was upset that I lost.
you
Not
got
just because
second?
no, I see, I did okay, but for some odd reason I felt like they gave it to me because I'm a girl.
Oh, you feel like you were
I
just
felt
sort of
like they were just
pushed you.
like here's this novelty, a girl DJ, and then back then it was more of a rarity than it is now, and I just. Even though I got second place, I didn't feel like I
You didn't
earned
earn
it.
it,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And I hated that. So I didn't block it out. But for some odd reason, because you asked the question, that's why we're talking about it. Why did we get here?
Do you think you use that as motivation? Maybe quietly.
I probably so because I feel like I work harder because I don't want people to brush me off and underestimate me because of my gender.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then there's also a part where I feel like I have to work even more harder because, there can be bias in competitions and stuff like that. Or, it just is in the nature of anything, any competition. And I just want to just leave it all on the tape. And if I don't lose, I know I did my best. You know what I'm saying? And so, or if I don't win. I know! That was crazy. No, if I don't win, I know I did my best.
Absolutely.
So I have to, go over the top, and just like, hey, okay, you score me low, but the crowd's going to say it. Nah,
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think, from what you said, do you think that made you do like extra work behind the scenes to be at like the highest level that you could reach, so that there was no that there would never be any moment in your mind, I hope, of people looking at you like, oh, she's just a woman,
right?
Especially during the time you're referring to, because I mean, largely hip hop is male dominated.
Yeah, for sure.
But especially during the time that you were like coming up and creating a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you did have to put in the extra hours?
Well, yes. Back then, that was like my first competition. I never, But at the same time, I was going to like the best DJ that I knew at the time, and still is, DJ Ike B. And he was doing all the tricks and stuff like that at the time. And so I'm getting tips. Basically, if I'm going to get in competition, I'm going to go to the best to get, in either instruction or tips or, what I'm saying, like a mentor. So I can, put my best foot forward. So, and so I still will have that same mentality. Yeah, if I did something like that again.
Well, speaking of that, hip hop in general, how do you think hip hop has helped inform your life, your creative career?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I'm from Dayton, and my father somehow, I don't know, he met Chuck D, Public Enemy, and so we, came down to Cincinnati when they had a show, and we were backstage with people like Ice-T and all these Heavy D and all that. I know, like I was in high school, so it was like a big deal for me. Like, and so here I am, and then Public Enemy. They're very political, and it give me not just Public Enemy, but a lot of hip hop groups at that time was really shaping and informing, more of the Afrocentric and power to the people, you know what I'm saying, and all that. And so at that time, while I'm still formulating what I wanted to do, part of that, and it's coming full circle, was I wanted to help young Black girls, build their self-esteem and work on those type of things. But I wanted to be able to use music. I felt like I had to, and again, I'm thinking about this at the time, like I have to get into music business to make a whole bunch of money and then go back to the community so I can do what I want to do.
Right.
I don't know if that's backwards or not, but I feel like at that time, seeing the only rich people we were seeing was the people on the videos, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that's the avenue, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have any, people that I knew personally in my circle that had a whole, that were millionaires. Now, there were some people, definitely that were middle class, but to do the type of work that I wanted to do, I felt like I had to tap into that money and get into the industry and all that stuff. But it's funny because now today, I'm in the community helping, you know what I'm saying? So, and I didn't have to do all that, but at the time that's but really the shaping, like you said before, was, just a thought, at the time, the mainstream of thought was, power to the people, know your history, know where you're from. And then also coming from a family who, they celebrate Kwanzaa and they're very Afrocentric. Right. So a lot of people were shaping it, but it was also through the lens of hip hop as well.
I think what your perspective too at that time is extremely relatable. But then, like as you evolve too, you start to realize that the resources that you want are already around you.
Exactly. Yeah. For
and
sure.
did that help inform your decision to start working for Elements years down the line to sort of make that impact, that social impact?
Well, yeah. Well, at the time, I was attending a church, and they were really encouraging the people. It's like, don't just sit here in the pews. Y'all go out there, and you got to go and volunteer and do the work. And at the time, that was just not too long after the riots. And I happened to know Gavin Leonard through a panel about women in hip hop, and reached out to him because I heard about what they were trying to do and with Elements. And so I was like, well, I'll come and volunteer, and help people learn how to DJ, what I'm saying? And so, so still, like you said, I had a bent to want to go out into the community and help. I just, at that time, wasn't sure how. And so here was a perfect opportunity to use my gifts and give back to their mission of giving a safe space for youth, and I was all for that. So it just happened to come together at that time.
Right. And could you talk a little bit about your experience? Because when you mention riots, you're talking about the riots in Cincinnati, early 2000s.
Yeah.
That, this is why Elements is here, because of the killing of a young black man by Cincinnati police and all the residual effects of that. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Like how I was feeling?
How you were feeling and I guess what the pulse of the city was like at the time?
I can really remember that happening and being in my apartment and just hearing the helicopters over top, you know what I'm saying, and seeing the flashing lights. Because I lived in Price Hill at the time, so I wasn't too far away. Right. And just kind of just sitting there like, man, this is this is really happening. And it's kind of like a sense of, I won't say fear, but just like, you hear about it, you hear about the riots in the 60s and all that stuff, but then to be a part of that and witness it and see it unfold was very impactful. And I think I know that's the reason why I wanted to, felt moved up, okay, what can I do? What is it can I do? And, here was the opportunity to do that. But
it presented itself.
Sure.
For sure. And you started off at Elements, and did you immediately start or offer the DJ classes, or did you think that you could come in a different way, like just?
Nah. DJing? And I knew they didn't have a. If you're doing hip hop, you gotta have
a DJ.
You
gotta have a DJ.
So So I don't know if they had anybody beforehand or not. I don't know. That's a good question. But I knew that it's like, I'm just gonna come in here and teach y'all how to DJ. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I think I either they had some donated equipment, and I brought my records, and we were just back in this little it was kind of dungeony, a
Yeah.
little corner, and I would show up. I mean, it was
Dungeony.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
yeah, and why is that so funny?
It's funny to me because I'm just thinking like, what if it was just the hip hop dungeon?
It was.
Everybody had on their chains, but like chains in a dungeon though.
Elements came a long way though, like for real, if you really think about it. Because
Yeah.
I've heard stories about it, like the
Facts.
early days of Elements, like studio was like in a basement, like a makeshift studio. In the basement, all that
makeshift
stuff.
for
No,
sure.
It was in a dungeon.
It's a dungeon.
It was.
Dungeon.
Yeah.
It was in a dungeon.
Little smelly. Yeah, it was all that.
That's crazy.
No, but and then and I would come there. I forget how many days a week, once or twice a week, and people would come back, and and I'll show them some different stuff or whatever, and then it was really hard back then because we're getting grants and getting grants and everything. Then it's like donations, whoever you just work with what you had. And so, but then eventually we were able to move up to the second floor and get some more donations and stuff
wow.
so, and then things started to pick up. So it was, I mean, looking back, we made do with what we had,
Right.
and people still, and appreciated what we were able to do.
Right, which is how hip hop was even created.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But what was the response from the youth like to have that sort of creative enrichment? People
It was weird in a good way, because one of my first students, come to find out, was actually my neighbor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was darn it, it comes off. It'll come to me because I usually, when I'm on the spot, I'll forget the name.
Right.
But and so sharing with him, he's talked about how impactful it was. Even some of the people that would rap, what I'm saying, still being able to show them. This is like very right when we first started.
Right.
Just giving that exposure, and then when we were moving up to the second floor, that's when we got a lot more people, and people like band camp and all those who came through, and and so it's cool to see that there's a lot of people in the city that say, oh yeah, you were my first DJ teacher and stuff like that, and I guess I didn't realize how many people had been touched by Elements or the DJ program and stuff like that,
right.
until you kind of look around and it's like, I remember.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
Did that fulfill you in any way, or did it transform you, like to hear about those testimonies later? Mm-hmm.
It definitely gave me some fulfillment for sure. I'm usually in the, and I enjoy being in the background. I'm not that get in your face type person, and I like to help people in a way that's just not like, hey, look at me and look
Right.
what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
just like, I help you. You good? I'm good. You know what I'm saying? That type of. But then to see it just makes me like you're doing good work. That's what I'm saying. You're not just out here just living,
Right,
or
right.
with a mouth breather. You know what I'm saying? You're just.
How you know what that means? Who did you hear say that? You heard somebody say that. And you try to slide it in your daily vocabulary. And you look directly at me when you say it.
I'm not
trying to say
implicating.
What are you implying? What are you
I'm not
insinuating?
implying nothing.
Right.
I thought you would appreciate it. That's all. Yeah.
But that's great. And you were at Elements for a long time too.
Yeah.
Could you tell the people how long you were working for Elements? Because you really did witness like the whole like evolution. I mean, we're still evolving, of course,
Yes.
but you witnessed a lot of significant change.
Yes. I was working for 16 years. Is that what you said? Tell the people 60 years.
16 years.
60.
That's a significant amount of time. You really got to see the DJs that you instructed. You got to see them go off and pursue professional careers.
Yeah.
Aside from just teaching them the actual arts of DJing, what other skill sets did you help instill in those young DJs that are now off doing incredible things themselves? Like,
you know what? From my point of view, I look at people like they already have the stuff in front, inside of them. I'm just here to help. And if I see something, I'm gonna point it out. But it's already within them.
Right.
So people who went on and did big things and touring, all that, they already had that hunger and drive, and so I can't really say, oh, that's all me.
Yeah, right.
I don't. If they have questions, the mere fact that they're coming to seek out and gain the knowledge. Some people who come, they keep going. Some people who come don't. You know what I'm saying? But whoever has that drive and hunger to go on and pursue, they will pursue it. I think even if I wasn't here, what I'm saying, it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I just happen to be here to help, you know what I'm saying? And I, go do what you do, you know what I'm saying? Or what you're capable of. I think part of when they did come here, or, when I was here, exposing them makes you play this music, play this and learn how to play it, know how to play all the genres, what I'm saying. Don't be just a one-sided DJ. Learn, be well-rounded, learn how to scratch. Some people don't know how to scratch, you know what I'm saying? And so give them that aspect so they can know how to incorporate that in some creativity. How do you do wordplay and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So and then some of the DJs that have came through here when they were, getting ready for a competition, you know what I'm saying? So those things, I think, I made sure that, they're exposed to. But again, I believe that, you're going to be all right with me not in your life, or, because you had that with you. God's going to do it. He can do it. You know what I'm saying? I just... You come to me, I'm just going to show you what I know. That's it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think that it shows too. Like, you've helped so many people realize their innate gifts and talents, and your motivation hasn't never been to sort of, like, I don't know, take a chunk out of whatever success comes, to a student's way. But I also think you have the really exceptional like experience of having taught really young kids and older adults. I think you've helped make DJing really accessible to a lot of people. What's been your experience with that, teaching that wide range of aspiring DJs?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I had somewhat of a guilt.
Why?
What did I mean?
What did you do?
No, I didn't. No, don't do that.
You did something.
I didn't do. No. Listen.
Where are the bodies?
Forget you.
We'll be asking the questions. The first 48 with April.
In my opinion, and this is true, DJing is the most expensive element to really get into. You know what I'm saying? You got to get the laptop. If you're getting turntables, the mixer, the speakers. If you want to do the lighting, you're going to go into debt, and we're in the hood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And nobody, has that money. So I'm thinking so there was a lot of, I was torn. I was like, how are we going to, I'm teaching them the skill, but then are they going to go into debt trying to do, you know what I'm saying? And, but the people who had the money are working, right? You know what I'm saying? Adults. And I was like, and who want to learn,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, well, maybe if we open this up, to adults who also want to learn. And what I've seen when we did that is that the adults helping the youth. Or, we had one of the DJ students who was an adult who moved and donated her equipment to the youth. You know what I'm saying? So that was just kind of a way to kind of circumvent that lack of, you know what I'm saying? And getting adults involved. But initially I was feeling discouraged because I wanted to help, but at the same time I knew how expensive it was. And I just wasn't sure, you know, I was kind of like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? So, but it was a community that helped, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, if I've had DJs, students where I would let them use my equipment to do a party, to get some money, you know what I'm saying? So there's other ways around it, but that was my guilt, no dead bodies.
Do you think it was important then, as you were instructing these students, the profit that could be made from using their skill set? Towards
I do say that. I was, you know, especially later on at this location, and even at the other location, I would say, you know, we will help you. We get a lot of gigs coming in. You're not just going to be learning this skill for nothing. We'll send you out, and if you do well, you know, and here we'll definitely send you, and so you can make some extra money for sure. And then we've done that, you know, and so and I've shared with them the DJs can make XYZ, you know what I'm saying? So this is a skill that will help you, you know, while you're on your way, you have something else in your wheelhouse that you can use in order to get some extra income for sure. Yeah. That's definitely communicated.
For sure. I think that also speaks to the point of the exposure that Elements tries to push for in exposing young people to all the creative art forms that fall under hip hop, but it also showing that opportunities are available, so that you don't abandon that passion that you may have as a DJ, as a dancer, as a rapper.
All
those things. And I do want to ask though, since we're talking about career, throughout all this time, you're DJing, you're making a name for yourself, you're just really killing it in the creative field. But you also went back to school and not too long ago received your master's in mental health counseling.
Yeah. I know. What,
juggling so much.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But it was worth it. I mean, it wasn't. It was so funny when you asked me to do this interview. I had searched an article that I did for, you know, not that I wrote, but someone interviewed me or whatever. And going back to school was not a part of the plan. My kids were there. That's like, this was in 2016. I had no mention of that. What I was focusing on was I'm supposed to be producing and doing this and that and whatever. But something that I experienced as a mom, you know, and just seeing the lack of Black women, either therapists or just understanding the plight of mental health access, even for, I'm not on Medicaid, right? But I'm not, you know, a millionaire or baller. And so in that space, it's like a squeeze of the middle class of if you need mental health services, you got to pay $100 a pop. You got to do, you know what I'm saying? If your insurance won't pay for this and all that. And it made me angry, you know, angry enough to go back to school. Because it wasn't like, I'll just go back to school. No, it wasn't that. It was like, I got to fight. I got to do something. It's a mission, you know, to sacrifice, to get so I can do the work. This wasn't, I had to, you know, and I don't regret it, and it's allowing me to do the work that I'm doing now, and I'm still learning and growing, but it was birthed out of passion, of desire to make me do that. I don't think had I not experienced it, I would not have gone back to school. You know what I'm saying? Like that was it was a God thing. Yeah. Because I didn't know I was going to go through all that. You know what I'm saying? And so it was enough to motivate me to do what I would not do. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Yeah.
It sounds like you have a very like help driven spirit. Like even if when you were talking about being in church and then and the riots, all of this is happening at the same time, and then and being moved to want to help young people and tap in with Elements and offer your services, and then fast forward some years later, you go through another experience that moves you to do something, to work, to offer your services, and now look at you. Still changing the world. Still changing the world.
Yeah.
Changing lives, impacting lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you making it seem like
No, but you are though. Like if you really laid it out, it may
Mm.
seem, because you're April, you're just like, oh yeah, like this is what I do, or you're going throughout your day, but you really are strongly impacting lives, even in small ways or ways that you don't necessarily think are, that profound, I guess, but you are.
Okay.
And I would like to ask you, because you are a creative by nature, and now you're in this mental health space, mental health career field, how do you see your creative talents informing your work, or how do how does the creative skill set translate into your approach for counseling?
Yeah. So I have brought my DJ controllers into the counseling session.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I've have right now a little keyboard, and we'll pull up Reason and let them play. You know what I'm saying? So just a way for them to creatively express themselves. We may listen to their playlists and talk about the songs. We might talk about the lyrics. We'll bring in, YouTube and see the lyrics and talk about what it means. And you know what I'm saying? So I'm using hip hop and music as a way to connect to them, where otherwise they wouldn't be able to open up. So I'm looking for that entryway to allow them to, let their walls down a little bit, so we can, build trust, and so they can start to unpack some of the things that have happened. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you think your years with Elements help prepare you for where you are now?
I think definitely working with youth, for sure, for all that amount of time, understanding their different stages of development and where they are. Because, even though this initially started as a teen center, we do have those that are younger.
Yeah.
And being able to know where they are and on their level of what they can relate to. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I'm trying to act like or be like them or anything like that, but because I'm in this space, I can see where they're coming from, what kind of music they're listening to, and all those type of things. So I think, yes, for sure, this has been helpful for me. And then being able to teach, you know what I'm saying, and so if I'm bringing that into, the session, then I know how to approach it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, for sure, they're coming together.
That's a beautiful thing, that you're doing work that still allows you to use that side of yourself that you hold sacred, I think, that creative part of yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a whole deeper level that, and I'm continuing to learn, but they have hip hop therapy and all that stuff. And I was like, I want to learn how to, so I want to be more strategic and, to use it as an intervention to help blank.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's part of the plan.
For sure. And with music being so universal too, I think that's a great place to start for any sort of therapy or process toward getting somebody to open up.
Since we are on music, could you give us your top 5 DJs?
Ooh.
Dead or alive, young or old?
Oh, get what you like, Primo. That's so cute. I like that. No, that's good. No,
That's so cute. You know, you a young boy.
No.
You a young boy. That's why. He's like, you're still a baby.
He was born in 2000.
No, but DJ Premier, but see, that's funny you bring it up, because he was one of the motivators for me to DJ, but not because of his DJing, but because of his production. You feel me?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
when I would put Primo as a great producer / DJ. But if I was to say my top DJs, I'm just gonna choose those that are like DJs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's not a DJ. He is a DJ.
It's too late. You done already said it.
No, but I'm saying
we got
only
you in 4K.
solely. You know what?
I'm just playing.
Like they came into the game, and I'm not from New York, but you know, I knew Primo, not personally, but as a producer, you know, with Gangstar, like that's how I knew, and I would listen to his mixtapes back in the day and just in awe of what he would do. So I was down with that, but it's just like I would put, you know, somebody up like, you know, Q-Bird and the
DJ Khaled. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm gonna mute my mic now.
You know, people that because I'm like when I first started out, I was doing competitions and stuff, right? And so I'm looking up to like the executioners with, you know, Rob Swift and, you know, Rock Raider and Eclipse, you know, and I'm seeing what they're doing on those different levels and Q-Bird and, you know, all the D-Styles and Mixmaster Mike, you know what I'm saying, with the Beastie Boys. I'm like there, you know what I'm saying? And so I would definitely put Jazzy Jeff up there, you know what I'm saying? All of the different DJs that were the pioneers of it all collectively, you know? So that's just where I'm at, because I'm more of I want to learn this and the technical scratching and all that stuff or whatever. But then I also like, you know, Scratch Bastard and you know, Miles Medina, all of these other DJs that are out there now that are doing it, that kill it both on the, you know, DJ competition side as well as the party rocking side too. You know what I'm saying? That, and they're like top international DJs that I really respect. And if I want to chop up my skills, I'm looking towards them. I'm not necessarily going to look at DJ Premier. You feel me? Yeah.
Well, speaking of DJing,
well, you got something to say.
I didn't. I was just playing.
He's gonna turn the mic back on.
No disrespect, though, for sure.
What's on the horizon for you?
Yeah. So again, it's like we were talking before, and trying to find that balance. It's like I have so many things that I want to do or could see happening, but at the same time, I don't want to overextend and not be available to my, you know, husband and kids. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things of, you know, being a female or whatever, or having a family. It's not I won't say that.
Family.
I mean, just having a family. Just, you know, and you know that you want to make sure that you're there. And so, you know, being out of school, you know, is a breath of fresh air. But at the same time, things are starting to fill back up. So, you know, I'm DJing, like we're talking about, with the Washington Park and Queens Village and Rhapsody, and then with Napoleon's Underworld Jazz Festival, and having Jerobi and Blink, you know, all these different things that are coming up that is like, but at the same time, I want to be able to really focus in and hone the incorporation of hip hop into therapy and you know, do groups and speaking engagements and teaching workshops of how to do this, and working, you know, with trauma. You know, a lot of definitely a lot of trauma going on with the youth, and it's disrupting, you know, just life, you know, daily life. And so I want to be able to hone all of that as well as, you know, go back into production, you know, and you know, the kids, they want to go to Japan. I got to make money so I can, they want to go to Tokyo, you know, we didn't go to anime, you know, all that stuff, right? I got to do that.
They got to get there.
And, you know, the best way to do that probably is through DJing, right? That's probably the best way, I'm thinking. I don't know.
I mean, you made it this far.
Well, you know.
You made it this far.
I'm still in Cincinnati. I'm not in Tokyo right now.
You'll get there.
Right.
You'll get there for sure.
Well, yes.
Well,
all right.
Thank you so much. This has been really, really great.
Yeah.
This conversation has been really just, I don't know, making me feel like really filled up or full, I guess I should say. Yeah.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
happy to talk to you always, April.
Okay, wait, I gotta do the shoulder shake too.
You gotta do it. I missed the days that we were working here and you would compliment my playlist.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No,
April likes my playlist.
No, it's always good. I was like, I can look to you and Chanel. Y'all get me hip for it, and you,
Thank
of course.
you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Because I was listening to Royce da 5'9" the other day.
See?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Chanel has a request.
From a legend herself,
What?
telling us that we got good taste.
Yeah, of course.
Chanel has a
You already
request.
know.
You
I don't
already
need
know that.
nothing
But you do that. You do that.
Chanel has a request.
Yes.
She said, "Can you either sing or drop some bars before you
we not
before
done.
you slide?"
We gotta do the So this part, we just gonna change my position.
Turn it inside out. Turn it inside out.
Seriously?
That's gonna work. It's not gonna work.
It is
I
gonna
was
work.
like,
You just
yeah.
weak-willed. No, I'm just.
Hey, but we really should get you. We gotta get you rapping again.
Give me rapping again. Seriously?
Just one bar, or just
Yeah,
singing
just
the
one.
tunes. Because I know you be singing.
I
You
was on
sang
what?
at
I was in
Thrive.
the church choir, but
You
you know
said
the
it.
church choir, you can be in the background and be in the church choir. You know,
you
you
were
like,
still
and they
singing.
say, "Bless your heart, baby." I kick that all day. I don't mean that
Well, we gotta get something. But,
I'm
we get some bars for sure.
some bars.
Some bars for sure.
Yum. Let me see. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want me to like spit something I'm doing original or like?
Yeah, you can
want
do
you to
that.
rap
Do
some
an
original
original.
bars.
If you you got something.
You want
got
to go
some
back and
problem.
forth freestyling?
Go.
You gonna have to be rhyming syllables though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't do the syllables as fast as you. Can't even talk as fast. Oh, see,
You put you on the spot. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
put me on the spot. I'm trying, and
did.
it's been a long time since I've rapped my own stuff, so I can't really.
You remember? Okay, rap one of your favorite like bars from another rapper. Like if you
another-
can think of something.
Or you said you used to rap. You just said that. Can you get us something old?
That's what I'm saying.
said
It's
you
been
can't
many
remember.
years, like several years since I've,
It'd be like
I'm
that.
saying-
She put you on the spot.
I know
that
you put me on the spot.
from another
yeah,
artist that you can remember.
the only thing that
Okay.
comes to my mind, huh?
I
The
said it's
MC
okay.
Light.
No pressure from me. It's all
Nah,
coming from
nah.
Chanel.
She
Chanel
trying to get
putting you on the spot. She
behind the
pressuring you.
scenes.
The first one you wrote.
She doesn't remember.
Chanel is currently upset because you sitting in a chair and you still taller than her.
Don't remember it.
Well, okay, T.I.
yeah.
This is going in the bloopers.
Yeah, the only thing that comes into my
Diss
mind
Chanel.
is what
Diss her.
this or no, I'm not wouldn't never.
I ain't
diss-
about to rap for you. That's it.
Oh,
Put on
Nah, I
a
can't do that
performance.
one.
This
What
is
was
such
it?
torment.
What was it?
yeah. I'm gonna date myself, but I'm not gonna do this rap. But I'm gonna say it. I told my
You say you
friends
can
it's
sing
cool.
too.
No. So back in the day, we used to, instead of cell phones, we had pagers, and we would go to the payphone.
I heard
and
drug
then
dealers.
and then listen, and then you can write your own, you can have your own. Look, it's like a voice message.
You
Listen,
wrote a rap on the
I
page?
wrote a rap on my pager. Yes, I wrote a rap on my pager, and I had in the background I had the brat playing, the instrumental, and I did a
Yo.
rap. It was dope, actually.
Clever.
Pager studio session.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
but I can't do it though, because it was a little ratchet back then.
That's okay. That's okay.
Studio
April,
session.
you
Yeah,
cracked
yeah,
me
yeah.
up. Thank you so much, though. Sincerely, like, we are so grateful for you.
Yes, I'm grateful
Thank
for
you for
y'all. I'm
giving your
grateful in this
time.
beautiful production and everything, and it's just very nice.
We
I'm-
use tape.
My heart is warm.
I'm glad. And that's a wrap. We out of here.
But not look.
Oh,
If you hit the camera, that would have been crazy. We talked about this. I said you gotta stop throwing stuff.
You said we needed something new to throw.
No,
not to
I
take-
didn't.
Well, it
I
happened
said you gotta
already.
do
It
something better than
happened.
throwing
It
stuff.
happened.
That was close.
Okay, that's it.